Edtech Soldier here, and I'm back to talk about Avatar: The Way of Water and my thoughts on this movie. Uh, I am underwhelmed. This film is not great. It's not terrible. It is watchable. I do like um, a lot of scenes. I like the CGI in it. I think the graphics are amazing, but the story is all over the place. Character development, we get a bit of it in this episode, but the biggest problem with Avatar, this Avatar, is it's basically just the first Avatar movie, just a little bit longer. That's about it. It's everything. I mean, everything that happens in this movie has already happened in the first movie, basically. Nothing really major happens. I mean, we get some things from the humans, some things from the Na'vi, but not that much. I mean, we learn about water stuff because basically it's about the way of the water, but yeah, again, if you've watched the first Avatar, you really don't need to watch this film because it's basically the same. I mean, humans bad, Na'vi good. Nothing has changed. And the humans haven't learned a goddamn thing from the defeat. They seem to have forgotten a lot of things they learnt in the first film, which is ridiculous. And the Na'vi also haven't really learnt anything. And neither is Jake. Again, I do like Jake and the father stuff. That's amazing. I think that's a massive plus for this movie because of, James Cameron going crazy about toxic masculinity, even though in this film you do see men being men and women being women. I mean, yes, a pregnant woman does fight, but it's not really that major of a scene, to be honest. But yeah, I think this is a waste of time watching this film. I'm sorry, it's just nothing new really happens. Nothing. It annoys me that this is basically the same fucking movie as the first one. I mean, yes, the colonel I can't say that, can I? That'll be a spoilers, but this film is just not worth watching. It really isn't. I mean, maybe if you want to watch it for the graphics, maybe if you want to watch it because you want to see what happens to Pandora and explaining a little bit more about the universe, I mean, okay, maybe it's worth watching for that. But if you're expecting a fantastic story or a decent story, I'd avoid this film. Because again, the plot is all over the place. The humans are doing one thing, it turns out they're doing it for another thing. And then at the end point of the movie, we find out they're doing it for a different reason. Again, there's no constant in this movie. Also, Jake's entire reason for certain things he does makes no fucking sense. Because, again, I've got to go into spoilers about this, but there's something Jake does in this film that I was questioning why he's doing it. Because it makes no sense. Why would you not stay and fight? Why? Oh, God, it's just... It's just so annoying because, again, all the humans... And yes, Jake might be a Na'vi now, but he's still basically human in his head. And he doesn't really learn that much. Again... So I am massively disappointed in this movie. I don't think it's terrible. I like the graphics. I do like a little bit of the storylines. I like the father stuff. I've already said that, but I wouldn't say this is a terrible film, but I wouldn't say it's a fantastic film. Definitely shouldn't get a sequel, in my opinion, because I just don't care. Everything this movie is talking about was already done in the first one. The first one should have just been one film. That's all you needed from this franchise. You didn't need to make it into a trilogy. That one film is enough. I don't think the first Avatar is amazing, but I think it's a good story. I think it's, it's a one and done story. Doing this 3-movie arc is ridiculous because there's not really much you can talk about. There's not really much you can show. Yeah, you could show different parts of Pandora. maybe that'll be interesting to people who are interested in animals and, you know, the environment of different worlds. Maybe. But that's not going to be exciting. And just having the humans be completely stupid every fucking battle is boring. Again, I keep saying this. The humans learned absolutely nothing from the fucking defeat they just took from the Na'vi. They learned absolutely nothing. The same mistakes happened. They get there. Well, I can't say that, can I? Again, I just think this is a waste of time movie. If you like graphics, you'll love it. But story-wise, it's terrible. So, what I'm going to give it out of 10, I'm giving it a 6. It's not terrible, but it's not great. That's where I'm going to leave it. So, if you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So, what is this film about? It's about humans trying to now take over Pandora. It's no longer a story about them extracting stuff or extracting material for, you know, power, or, you know, trying to negotiate with a Na'vi so they can cut down a few more trees. No. Apparently, now the story is about humans trying to stay on Pandora because apparently Earth is dying. Now, this would be interesting if they had concentrated on this. But the plot is so fucking insane. Like, 1 minute it's about humans are trying to make Pandora safe for human life. Like, are they going to try to terraform it? Again, we never find out about that. Because they say it in one fucking scene about making the planet ready for humans. And then they just get rid of that shit. Then it turns out the humans want to negotiate with the Na'vi. Well, actually, they want to kill them as well, but they want to try to fool them into a negotiation. I don't really know what that scene was about, but I think that's what they were trying to say. The new general, by the way, she is incompetent as fuck. Like, she flies around in a heavy helicopter ship, and all she does is just fly about and just... She doesn't really do much. I'm sorry, but it's like, why are you in this film? You add nothing to the film. And then it turns out the humans are also hunting down whales so that they can live forever. Because that's now the reason the humans are also staying on Pandora. Because these whales have some sort of gene inside them, in their head, in their brain, that the humans can suck out. And if they give it to humans, they can stop the aging process. And then that's the reason the humans are also staying on Pandora. Okay, James Cameron, you need to make it a bit more clear why the humans are still here. Why did they come back in such massive numbers? I thought they were going to come back to kind of settle a score. Maybe the Colonel had friends and they want to get revenge for him. No, it just turns out humans need a new home, and also there's whales that can keep humans alive forever. It's just so... The story is all over the place. Now I'll talk about... And also, I want to talk more about the humans, because the humans learn nothing. They still fly around in helicopters that take one shot to kill them. They haven't made any new suits. Oh, except that crappy small suit for human beings to kind of, you know, be as tall as a Na'vi, and so they can fight them a little bit more easier. Does that help in this film? No. They still get their ass kicked. Again, the humans haven't made any decent suits to take on the Na'vi. The helicopters are still so easy to fucking kill. Like, I'm so pissed off about the helicopters in this, because every helicopter was so fucking pointless. They know the Na'vi are going to attack them. They know what weapons the Na'vi use. And that's basically massive arrows that are pretty much the human beings' pikes that they like throw right into them. So they haven't fixed the helicopters to fight against that. They haven't made protection for the humans to fight against that. No, it's just, we're just going to be the same army we were in the first film. Then what's the point? You got your ass kicked last time. And also, this is also what pissed me off in this film. Have they completely forgotten about the tree? The massive tree that if you destroy, you kill the planet. And makes it more easy for you to take over the planet. Because the humans have completely forgotten about that. Now, they did try to cover this up by saying, oh, if they send any technology in that direction, it will get swarmed by animals, so we can't do that. Okay, send more men. Or don't bother sending any men, send missiles. You have fucking ships in space. Go over the fucking place where the tree is and bombard it to fuck. Or fire missiles straight. Oh my god. Like last time, they nearly won. It took every fucking creature on that planet to stop them. And yet they just gave up. You have a bigger army. You have more equipment. Just go there with a massive army and take Jake on. What's he going to do? So that for me is a massive plot hole. Again, you know their weakness. You know where to hurt them the most. And you don't bother doing anything about that. And your excuse is pretty ridiculous. They also bring the Colonel back. Now, I think it was the right idea to bring him back because he was a good character in the first one. And the reason they brought him back was basically they've downloaded all the Colonel's brain. So basically he still lives through this kind of avatar machine process thing that pretty much makes this avatar blue guy him, basically. They've downloaded his brain into an avatar, and now he can walk around as strong as Jake and as fast as Jake, so it's a bit more equal. He doesn't need a suit now to fight Jake. I like the fact they brought him back. I kind of think this Colonel guy is a lot more smarter than the rest of the humans because he starts to adapt to Na'vi. He starts to, not say respect, but he starts to realise that if they start fighting like the Na'vi, like using their creatures and using their tactics, they might actually defeat them. So I do like the fact the Colonel came back. And he is the only one that makes sense to be back in this film. I don't like Sigourney Weaver in this film. I'm sorry, I'm just going to be completely honest about that. I think the fact they're having her play like some sort of child. Again, you cannot have a woman who I think is in their 60s try to play a fucking child because it takes you out of the movie. Every time Sigourney Weaver tries to talk like this 15-year-old girl, it's like, I know this woman is 60. I know this woman is not that age. She doesn't sound it, and it's really taken me out of the film. It should have been a new character, a new actress should have been playing that role. You want to have Sigourney Weaver back? Apparently her body, her avatar, her character's avatar is still alive. Even though in the first one she died. But apparently she's still alive in some way. And and her avatar apparently got pregnant by somebody. Now they're trying to say it like, oh, it's a mystery. They make it pretty bloody clear that it's Pandora. That's the father. You know, it's the spirit, whatever. And so this child is like, she's in touch with the planet, she's in touch with the creatures. So it's pretty much she is the Na'vi's god in Na'vi form. But I didn't like Sigourney Weaver. Actually, yes, Sigourney Weaver. I didn't like Sigourney Weaver playing this character. Okay, I think she should have stayed being the Doctor. Maybe somehow the planet's energy was able to save her memory, and you could have said that that's how she was also put into a different avatar, and that's how she survived. That would have made sense, and maybe she's come back, and the planet's given her all this strength so that she can control animals and help the Na'vi fight the humans. That would have been more interesting than having Sigourney Weaver act like she's 15 or 14 or whatever. Because it was really off-putting to me. It's like, it just sounds so bloody weird. It really does. My other problem with this movie is it is the exact copy of Avatar 1. So basically Jake has to leave his tribe because he's now the leader of the tribe. But he has to leave now because the Colonel's back. And the Colonel has decided he wants revenge on Jake and his wife for killing him. And so Jake doesn't want to put his people at risk, so he decides to run away to protect the people. I think this is so ridiculous because at the end, Jake pretty much figures out he should stay and fight. Okay, Jake, you realise that in the first film. You know the humans are just going to keep coming. What are you running for? Now I get he's trying to protect his family, and I do like the family scenes between him and his kid, because Jake is a military father. I mean, if you ever had a military father, you know that's what he's like. He gets them to call him sir. He does orders to them instead of like asking them as like normal fathers do. He acts really militarily to them, which I did like. And I do like the fact that he's a great father to his kids. He's trying to teach his kids. He's stern with his kids. He's not a pushover. And I really did like that about his character. What I don't like about his character is he's fucking stupid. Like, why are you leaving your people at their most desperate hour? Like, the Colonel's back and he wants to kill you and he wants to defeat your people. So you decide to run away and put more people at risk. I mean, again, he's leaving his people to, protect them. So he goes to these sea people to ask them for protection and basically puts them at risk too. So he's an idiot, basically. And then most of this film is just Jake trying to learn more about the sea Na'vi and their way of life. And it's basically him and his family learning how to be the sea Na'vi and their ways. So basically, everything that Jake did in the first movie, he's doing again in this movie, but it's his entire family as well. Which is stupid. Because again, it makes no sense why he's here. It makes no sense why he didn't stay and fight. Because at the end of the fucking film, he just says he's going to go back to his people and fight. It's absolutely dumb. It really is. And I'll say this about Jake's kids. I think they're alright. I like the characters. They're not over the top annoying. They're not, absolutely well, they don't take over the film, let's just say. The film's not focused on just them. And Jake's in the background. No. They're in the movie. They're at the front sometimes. They're at the back most of the time. But they're really likeable characters. I like Jake's second son, because he kind of tries to challenge his father. He then goes out and tries to experience this world on his own. And he does fuck up and unfortunately does get people killed, but it's not his fault entirely, let's just say. And I like the character. And the rest of the kids were okay. They also have a human child who's called Spider, who turns out to be the Colonel's son. I kind of like this character. It kind of shows you the kind of stuff. There's still good humans. It's just politics gets in the way sometimes, and if you're not in that political world, you can be a nice person, which I liked. Spider is a good character. I kind of wish at the end he did stay with his father and help him learn about the Na'vi, and maybe had been a spokesman for the Na'vi and tried to bridge the gap between the people. Maybe that will happen in the next movie, but again, no problem with Spider. I think he's a good character. On to Neytiri. Neytiri is okay in this film. I think she plays a great mother. She's kind of also a balance for Jake in some cases. But she is a racist because she does not like Spider at all and wishes he would go away in some scenes. And I get why she hates humans, but the kid has done nothing to you. So I do like the fact that she's, showing that there is a bad side to the Na'vi, that, they do have problems. They do not respect every culture, and I get why I don't like this Sky people culture. But again, this child has done nothing to you. Why are you so against him? Why are you not trying to educate him and help maybe get his people to learn about the Na'vi ways? I mean, I don't know. It helped Jake, didn't it? But Neytiri, on a whole, she's a good character. She was good in this film, and she was a great mother. So I will give her that. But yeah, the whole film as the film as a whole, it kind of gets spoiled at the end for me, because so the Colonel goes out to hunt for Jake. He starts burning down villages to smoke Jake out. So the Colonel tells the ship captain who wants to go out and hunt whales, because again, the final act of this entire film is whale hunting. We get a scene where they show us what happens when they hunt down whales, and they explain why they hunt down the whales, which is for the stop aging stuff from the whales. And you get this really touching scene where the calf sees his mother's dead and doesn't want to leave his dead mother, so unfortunately the calf dies as well. And so the Colonel does another hunt to draw Jake out, which he does because his sons go out to save a whale. And the final fight is pretty boring. It's only a few Na'vi on these new kind of sea creatures that fly also. The battle isn't that spectacular in my opinion. You get a few boat fight scenes. The whale then attacks the big ship. But as a whole, this fight scene was pretty boring. And it is nowhere near as good as the final battle scene from the first film. You also get a fight between the Colonel and Jake. It pretty much goes the way you think it goes. Jake kicking the crap out of the Colonel. The Colonel then grabs Jake's daughter and threatens to kill her. But then Neytiri grabs his son and threatens to cut his throat. Now Neytiri is angry because earlier in the film, Jake's oldest son gets killed, I think by the Colonel. We're not really sure who does it because it was just a random bullet from one of the avatars, the human avatars, and yeah, his son dies, and Jake pretty much wants revenge on the Colonel. But they have the fight. Neytiri grabs the Colonel's son to stop him from killing their daughter. And the Colonel tries to play off that he doesn't care about his son because he's not the real Colonel. But the Colonel still feels love for his son, so he surrenders the daughter back to Jake. The family then try to get off the ship because it's exploding. And then the Colonel pretty much says, I'm going to come after your family and I'm going to kill them all and blah, blah, blah. They have a fight. And the Colonel gets defeated, gets left for dead. But his son comes back, rescues him, pulls him up in the water. And when the Colonel tries to get him to come back to the humans, his son, Spider, runs back to the family that almost killed him. Which I thought was stupid. Again, Neytiri literally nearly cut your throat and you're prepared to go back to her. Like, for me, that would be literally the cut-off point of like, okay, I might not be safe in this family anymore. And that would have made sense for him to go back to humans, and maybe the next movie he could have tried to be a negotiator between the Na'vi and the humans. But we won't get that, unfortunately, which is disappointing. But yeah, the final battle was pretty boring. I like the fact the whale fought back, because they do explain in this movie that these whales are very intelligent. So intelligent the Na'vi have conversations with the whales. And so the whales are pretty much their people as well. They consider them like family. So when the humans start to try to kill these whales, it gets these sea Na'vi very upset, and they're trying to avoid war. But as soon as members of their tribe get killed, there's no stopping them from heading to war with the humans. And I kind of like that. Again, I'm against whale hunting. They're very smart creatures. I do like this little bit of political stuff in this film. So I agree with it, and I kind of liked it. And it was heartbreaking seeing the whale get killed. And when you hear the only thing the humans want is just a liquid from its brain, and they're just going to waste everything else on that whale, it makes you so angry. You really do want to help the Na'vi kill these motherfuckers. I mean, it makes you so angry in the theatre. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. The film ends on, Jake pretty much selling his people, his new people, the sea people. It's time to fight back, and he's going to head back to this. He's going to head back to his old tribe to get everybody together to fight back against the humans. And I kind of just asked myself, why the fuck didn't you do this in the first place? Oh, we get a funeral scene for his son, and I thought it was a good scene as well. And that's how it ends. It ends with Jake declaring war on the humans again, and he gets to have a last scene with his son as he goes to the sea tree that the Na'vi have. So apparently they have multiple trees now for the planet's god. So that might be one other reason they might not be concentrating on that tree. I would have liked for them to have explained that in the film, but they didn't. Again, this film hasn't got a focus. It's got too much going on when they should have just been concentrating on one thing, which is the war between humans and Na'vi, and explaining in fucking detail why the humans are there. Not just say the humans are there for this reason, and also this reason, and then also this reason. I would just like to have been focused on maybe the humans are there because they're having to escape Earth because of all the crap they did to Earth, and they want this planet to be their home, but a Na'vi don't want it to happen because the humans have already killed their environment. They can't do it to us, which I could respect. But James Cameron's kind of gone a bit nuts with this film. And again, I think it's an okay film. I just don't think it's great. So yeah, the film just ends with Jake declaring war on humans and rallying all the people together. And that's how it ends. So for me, it's a 6 out of 10. It's a okay film. Is it worth seeing in the theatre? If you like the CGI, if you like the graphics, it's great to see in IMAX. I saw it in IMAX 3D. Waste of money seeing it in 3D. It's pretty pointless in my opinion. See it in IMAX, I don't think you'll be that disappointed. If you're going there for story, I would avoid it. Because again, it is just Avatar 1. But longer. And that's it. That's my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think about subscribing. Entertainment Soldier. Bye.